Welcome to the Story Eyed Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Jen. On this show, we talk about all things Williams syndrome. We're excited to share our community with you. Thanks for being here.
We just got to check in and say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How is everybody?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty good.
Good.
He's great. He just told us all about how he's going to concerts and living his best life.
He really is.
Yeah.
I know. Well, it's November and it's almost Thanksgiving and we're just trying to get through.
Yeah.
So
I really enjoyed meeting Renie.
Renie's great. Like I had told you guys beforehand, John Kent and I interviewed her on the cruise this past June, and just had the best time with her. She's so wonderful, and and I was thinking, man, I could just post that as an interview with her, but I just thought she was so cool and so wonderful that I wanted the two of you to get a chance to chat with her, and she didn't disappoint. She's super fun.
She killed it.
She's Stu Zitomer's sister.
Which I love Stu. He is actually one of my favorite people.
Stu's super fun.
Great.
Yep.
And I love sharing about sibling perspectives. And as you listen, I have a lot of questions about it. How to ensure good sibling relationships.
Indeed.
I don't know if it's something I can control, but I'm going to try.
Well, yeah. Well, control, probably no. But like you can shepherd, you can cajole,
guide.
You can try to
Nurture.
guide.
Nurture. That's a good word.
There you go. That's the right word. You can use atrociously social behavior to try to.
I mean, who knew that from this there would be a band name?
It's a great
band name ever.
It's a great band name. All right. Well, enjoy the conversation with Renie, everybody.
Yes. Yep. Yay. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Morgan Jane Starkman. I am the daughter of Greg and Joanne Starkman from Inner Sense Organic Beauty, and I'm so happy to tell you something really special. The Hair Renew Scalp Hair Bath and the Hair Renew Soothing Conditioner from Inner Sense Organic Beauty. These clean, safe products help take care of your scalp and hair. They make your scalp feel calm and renewed. I love how they make me feel cared for, and I think you'll love these products too. Let's take care of our scalp and hair together. Try them today and save 15% on your first purchase with my code Morgan15 at InnerSenseBeauty.com.
Right. Hi, Renie. How are you?
Brendan, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm hanging in there. So for those who might not know who you are, why don't you take a few seconds to introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Cool, okay. I am Renie Zitomer, and I have an older brother who has Williams syndrome, and we live in Silver Spring, Maryland, and we've been involved with the WSA consistently since 2016. 2016 was when we went on our first walk for Williams in the Maryland area in our region. And we've attended 2 conventions so far. The one that was in Schaumburg, Illinois, and Phoenix, Arizona. So we're looking forward to Buffalo. We'll be there for that. And my brother is 2.5 years older than me. I am in my late 30s. He's 40. We live together. My brother and I have been living together for about 10 years now, like as grown-ups. Yeah, and we're pretty social as well. We hang out and have a lot of the same friends and things.
That's super cool. So it's 2016. If Stuart is 40, you guys got above late.
Little late, yeah. I think there may have been like some things that our parents brought us to when we were really, really young. That was local, like maybe some walks or what other gatherings. Yeah. But I think just like life happened, and we were always doing like extracurriculars in general. So we've always been really busy. So yeah, we kind of faded away from the WSA until I think it was due to social media, like their social media presence. Gaining traction on like Facebook and Instagram was what helped me zone into the events and whatever else like goes on with the organization. So that's really helped, been a great resource. Yeah.
So that was like your kind of in when you started seeing like all that stuff, and you're in the age range, where that's like impactful. And I love that. So you and your brother live together now. How old was Stuart when he was, first of all, is Stuart there? Can he come? Can he come say hi to us? Oh,
he's actually not home at the moment.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Where are you, Stuart?
Where far
I'm
out
home by
though, Stuart?
myself. He's hanging out with our mom, who lives like 15 minutes away.
Okay.
So I'll see him later for dinner. I'll let him know you guys say hi.
Yeah, that's good. When he listens to this, he'll know that he was missed. So you guys live together now, but like, do you know a lot about his journey with Williams syndrome? Like how old he was when he was diagnosed?
I think he was a little less than 1 year old when he was diagnosed, and it wasn't like his regular pediatrician. I think it was like another doctor that saw him and recognized like the facial features, and then when it was shared that he wasn't meeting like the usual milestones for a baby his age, that's when they were able to diagnose him.
Okay. And then you were obviously not born yet because you said you're 2 years younger?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a part of your life, and I'm always interested about this, like especially from the sibling perspective. My daughter Stella, who has Williams syndrome, is 15, and her sister is 3 years younger. And so I'm like, how we're at the age where it's not great. There's like it's not great, and I don't know if it's because it's sister on sister, or if it's that age. But like, yeah, tell us about how it was like growing up, like kind of the phases of life you've been through with Stuart and being a sibling of somebody with Williams syndrome.
Okay. Well, some of the earlier memories that I have was like when I was maybe in preschool or even kindergarten age. I think I was told, and I also kind of remember the feeling that like I didn't like being away from my brother too much. Like we've always kind of been close, even as young kids. And he was going to like a different public school that wasn't in our designated zip code area, but he was going to another one because, they had more programming for him to have, what he needed. And I was able, or my parents were able to also get me accepted into this other elementary school so that I could be at the same school as him, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
We didn't have like classes together or whatever, but just to like ride the bus together. They had a bus that would pick us up right at our house, which was nice.
Okay.
So that was elementary school. And that was nice. We also had both gone to sleepaway summer camp since the age of, I think 7 and he was, I guess, 9. Was our first years in sleepaway summer camp. And the summer camp had like 2 different sessions in the summer, an earlier one, a later one. And our parents strategically sent my brother to the first session where he did have like more support with counselors and staff. But they wanted me to go
to the second
session. Yeah, just so that like there wasn't any kind of concerns of me feeling like any obligation to like help out, I guess, or just kind of like create my own persona, away from my brother. Because I guess our parents had already like realized like we were getting really close. And so they purposely had us attend summer camp in these different sessions. And what's funny is like for many years we did that. And by the time we were like in the early years of high school, like right before we were old enough to be counselors, it was our last few years at summer camp as campers. Because of our age group, they blended the 2 sessions.
Okay.
And just coincidentally, we started going the same time to summer camp. And like counselors and other campers who were going both sessions or whatever didn't realize that we were siblings. Oh. And when they found out we were siblings, I became way more popular. And I didn't even know that like I could have been using like dropping a name that my I'm Stu's sister could have like gained my popularity up so much sooner, but I had no idea.
Right. That's so funny. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people I know, siblings, feel that way. Even my daughter Stella, who is more of a spicy Williams syndrome person, she's not as like outwardly friendly. everybody knows her sister as Stella's sister. Like they don't know her name is Greer, my younger daughter, but she doesn't really have an identity other than like you're Stella's sister. Everybody knows Stella and they know her as Stella's sister. So that in your case though was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And so
it worked out.
Did you guys go to the same high school?
No, so after elementary school, we went to different middle schools and different high schools, which was good also, I think, to, for my own identity and all that.
Yeah.
And honestly, up until like my early 20s, my brother and I like were not as close in socializing together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not that we ever fought, like we got along at home. But I did have like my own social life and extracurriculars and everything that I was able to establish. And it wasn't until like my early 20s when I wanted to reestablish a connection with Stu to like, get back to feeling a sense of like friendship, and not in an obligation type of way, but like now that we're like grown-ups, I'd like to establish a friendship. And it was very eye-opening because like I could tell my friends and people around me in my life that were already there before I wanted to like reintroduce my brother back into my social life. It was eye-opening to see like how true friends would really react or not react to wanting to involve my brother with a disability to like come hang out with us or go out to eat with us or whatever, go to the bar with us, like things like that. So I spent some time like weeding out those people that didn't serve and support my friendship with my brother.
I mean, and that's such like a good journey. I mean, even as like a parent, I know I feel that way. Like Stella is a great barometer for me to put in front of people to be like, are you cool? Are you a good person? Yeah. She will read them and she knows, like she always weeds out the bad ones. That's how I know. That's how I know if like somebody is worth like her time or my time. But yeah, when you're 20, that's got to be like, did that feel weird to go through that?
Yeah, it was like kind of heartbreaking because there was especially like I had one like best friend who I'd gone through high school with and we were very close in college years. And we were like co-hosting a party together. And I wanted to invite my brother to the party that I was co-hosting. And he was like, I don't know if that would really like be a good vibe. And I'm like, I don't think we should be friends anymore. Yeah. I mean, that's in a nutshell, I'm paraphrasing, but
like, that was out of my life.
Yeah. And like dating also has been a great, like you said, a barometer with, who I should like continue dating if they're cool with my brother or not. Like that's been, that's come up multiple times over the years too.
Yeah.
So I'm not married. I don't have any kids.
Right. Yeah. When did so you said 10 years is when how long you guys have lived together. So you were pretty young when you guys decided to like be roommates. And how did that come about? So I was fortunate enough to be in a position to purchase my grandparents' house, which is 15 minutes away from my parents, back when I was like 24. Which I know is like not common. And for a few years after like buying it and living there, I had like housemates. I had friends renting out bedrooms and it was like a super fun party house. And that was when like I started, having my brother like come and party with us and hang out. And we would do sleepovers. And he was still living with our parents at the time. And then I guess like 10 years ago, I was 28. I had a room open and available, like a friend had moved out. Yeah. And mom and dad had coincidentally started like talking about next steps for Stu. Like, maybe they'll buy him a condo or like he'll like find a roommate or some kind of situation where he could start to become more independent and move out of our parents' house. And I had just suggested to my parents, like maybe as only a stepping stone, he could move in with me for a moment temporarily since it's like still close and it's like with me and we're all like seeing each other all the time anyway. And then eventually like you guys can buy him the condo or whatever other goals that my parents saw for Stu.
So Stu moves in with this understanding that it's temporary. But the thing is that Stu and I really enjoyed living together, and we still had a couple other housemates at the time, and they really took to living with Stu as well. Luckily, they've all since moved out, so it's been just Stu and I since like I think 2018, and it's been going great. And yeah, if we don't have, I had told mom a little bit ago, I'm like, yeah, I don't think we need Stu to move out. And I'm like, Stu, do you want to move out? And he's like, no, I'm cool. And I'm like, yeah, me too. I think this is fine.
So you don't have any like bad roommate stories to share with us about things that he does that annoy you?
There are, yeah, he's messy for sure. And he doesn't, oh my God, I'm sorry. My dog is shaking and making so much sound.
That's all right. Mine was over here scratching aggressively. It's the way
So Stuart doesn't refill the Brita pitcher, which is so annoying.
Yeah.
He'll like leave it back in the fridge, like very low water. And I'm just like, oh, sucks. And then like when it's time to refill and I don't have cold water. That's one of my pet peeves. He snacks all the time and will leave crumbs all over the floor. But luckily, like we have a dog that'll eat them up. So yeah, that's not too much of a problem usually. What else? I don't know. We both have like ways of sitting on the couch to watch TV in like the common room. And I can tell like he leaves the remotes a certain way and the pillows a certain way. And then I like to like set it up my way and I'll leave the pillows and the remotes a certain way. And so we both like kind of annoy each other about that too.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's like living with your spouse. So I mean, my husband does lots of things that annoy me and vice versa.
Yeah.
I love that. So like, yeah, this idea of him maybe living with you, like, are you thinking that Stu will live with you just forever? Or like, what are his goals? Stu, what are your goals? You're not here. So we have to rely on Renie to tell us.
Just from previous conversations, I can tell you like Stu is down with living with me forever. And I am too. Like we see eye to eye on that. So in terms of like any future, partners and growing family situations that could potentially happen, it would definitely include Stewie with us, Uncle Stewie, Brother Stu.
Yeah.
Uncle Stu.
It's like one of the things that's been interesting in this podcast format of interviewing a lot of different people with Williams syndrome, like one of the realizations that I had, so kind of like when I first learned about disability and they always put like all the bad things in front of you, right? Like, oh, people with Williams syndrome can never do this. They're never to do that and this. And one of the things was like, people with Williams syndrome will never be able to live on their own. And it's like, that just sounds so heartbreaking, right?
Yeah.
Then I go through this process of being on the podcast. And one of their like realizations, one of the light bulbs I've had is like, okay, well, I don't think it's that they can't live on their own. I think they don't want to, because like people with Williams syndrome are so social and love connection. And I mean, Brendan, I know you have the most perspective on this, but like, it's just from me viewing as an outsider. Like I think that they yearn for that connection so strongly. And so it's not a can't, right? And there are people living independently with Williams syndrome and doing a great job with it. But I think instead of saying like they can't, it's like they don't want to. They want to share their lives with other people.
Yeah. Yeah, we're atrociously social. We are such social butterflies.
You lived on your own for a while, right?
Yeah, for a year. I did with a roommate, and then I moved back with my parents, and where I'm currently living with now.
Joel says atrociously social is a good band name.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Good idea. Well, and especially with people that they love very much, right? Like, and I'm sure Stu is no exception to that. Like, the love is so deep and the caring is so deep. So I sort of like started thinking about it in a new way, thinking that like, instead of worrying about whether or not Stella will live on her own, thinking like, gosh, whoever gets to live with her is going to have the most love.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to reframe it. I love that.
Maybe a lot of crumbs too, because she drops a lot of crumbs as well. There's some good things there.
Maybe a lot of spice,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How then for you, like being the age you are and looking for like, I don't know if you want to get married or have kids or what your life plan
Mhm.
is, but um,
Yeah.
is that you said that that's a part of weeding out those, people who are in it for the long haul. Like, how has that been?
It's been there's been challenges. There's been people I've dated for like over a year that I realize they're not cool with Stu, so I break up with them and
Pick up with them?
I move on because it's like such a deal breaker for me. If
Yeah.
there's been like a sufficient attempts in situations where to establish like a decent dynamic. If
Yeah.
it's just not feeling it,
You have
then
to do
I
what's
I keep it
best for
moving.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so anybody that I'm currently dating or that I will in the future, like I do let them know like upfront, like this is my situation,
Mhm.
and that's something you would just have to accept if you
Something you
want
have
to
to do.
continue and move forward with. Yeah. And it's not to say that like there won't be other things that I'd have to accept from a new partner. Like if they have, I figure like what's the difference if like they have been, married before and have kids from someone else that, that they would be co-parenting with. Like it's,
Yeah.
blended families. Like it
Similar.
happens all the time. It's all doable.
Yeah.
There's no like right way to do things. And I've really worked hard on like reminding myself that and like unlearning the social norms that our society has like embedded so deeply in us for so long. When you have someone with Williams syndrome or any disability in your family, like sometimes you just think outside the box, and
Mhm.
that's like it's a beautiful thing to be able to figure out too. That we have the ability to figure it out.
And it's so
Yeah.
so interesting for you because you like were born into it, so it probably feels very intuitive, for you. Like that's just the life you've always lived. But for people like for me, I like what had never been around people with disabilities really. And so it wasn't
Mhm.
until Stella was diagnosed, and Stella was diagnosed at 5. And so I had these like 5 years with her where I mean I was kind of young and dumb where I mean I like we knew stuff was wrong, but I was like not thinking it was a disability.
Mhm.
And then she gets diagnosed, and then like I said, people just tell you all these like bad things, like it's just a barrage of bad news. And I was like, wait a minute, like, but I've been living with this person for 5 years and I think she's like super awesome. So
Yeah.
I think it was like a blessing in some way because I didn't shape my viewpoint around her having a disability. I sort of like stumbled into it like backwardsly. And I think backwardsly, I don't know if that's a word.
It
But
is.
I think that you're right. Like I do see so many people with like so many unconscious biases about disability. And there's actually like so much like beauty and awesomeness that comes from it. So it does make it hard, I assume, for you, like when you're going out and trying to have friends or, like significant others,
Mhm.
because that is something that you run up against. And you almost need to find somebody who like has a person in their life with a disability. Do you find them? Is there a dating app for that? That's what I want to know.
There should be.
Ah, if
There should be like
only.
Got it.
boxes you could click. Oh my God, that's a great idea. I love that.
If
I hope you start that.
only.
Yeah. Well, some of the points you made me think of also, like growing up, it wasn't like I was always aware that, oh, my brother has a disability, though it wasn't like a thing that was a shameful thing either. Like we always knew like, what Williams syndrome is. Like, okay, Stu has Williams syndrome, but my parents made it a point to like never let it get in the way of anything, for lack of a better term. Like they always made sure to if myself or Stu wanted to like pursue something, like our parents, luckily were able to make it happen in some kind of capacity. And that's really important. I also appreciated how our parents never like forced the two of us to like be friends.
Yeah.
I think that's really helped not harness any resentment in my adult life.
Okay.
So that was super helpful. And, being an adult and being involved with the WSA, especially the support groups for siblings
Mhm.
of people with Williams syndrome, and like meeting other siblings, both at convention and on the Zooms and things, it was eye-opening also to just hear a lot of people not having any kind of relationship with their sibling, and like not to judge, everybody grew up however they did and like have their own families and moved away and whatnot. Like my situation is like I never moved away from home. Like my family all still is here, and And so like it's cool to be close to our mom's house, but yeah, like siblings who grew up and like moved away and got married and like have their own families and like unfortunately now like are the designated person to be responsible for their sibling with Williams syndrome, like and trying to navigate that is such a challenge.
Yes.
My heart goes out to people in that kind of situation, because like there isn't an established foundation of friendship or, you know, any kind of like basic relationships sometimes. And it's just like this, I don't want to call it a burden, but like they feel like there's a lot of added responsibility.
Yes.
So it's challenging sometimes for people in that situation. And some of my challenges over the years, I mean, a constant challenge is not including Stu when I want to socialize with either like romantic partners or other friends.
Yeah.
You know, I do include him a lot, but there are times I don't, and he'll be bummed and he doesn't like have any other, you know, places to go or ways to get there. So I feel sometimes like that added pressure that I'm like, oh, if I like maybe just let him come along or if I change my plans, but then I like I go through a whole cycle of thoughts and I'm like, I have to remind myself that no, I can like also have my own time too, my own time with my own friends or my own partners, and like trying to find that balance is just the constant challenge. And it sometimes bums him out and it breaks my heart when like Stu is like, oh, I'm going to miss you, but okay. Like, I'm like, I wish there was just more hours in the day.
Yeah, it is a really hard thing to navigate. I mean, different than your situation, but like being a parent, right? Like it's easy to get your identity sucked into your person with a disability. And I think, I don't know if you guys read the Gideon Levinson, his words that he shared about Josh, his brother, who just passed away. But the part that choked me up was the part where he said something about like, our world revolved around you and thank you for letting that happen. And I was like, oh, because that is how it feels, right? It feels that way, that and there are times where you have to have your own life and your own identity, and it can be hard. Like you said, because there's just times where your person can't be involved.
Right. Yeah, but it ultimately like, and this is part of like my cycle of thoughts. I remind myself that like, if I'm able to like devote that time for myself, and I'm sure like parents can relate to this too, to like be able to carve out any time or whatever it is for yourself, then you're that much more available and have that much more capacity to be there for your loved one with Williams or with a disability or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sure.
And that is so true. Is that kind of like the things that you talk about on the sibling support group?
Yeah, I mean, we get really like specific sometimes if there's like a specific issue or problem that one of our sibs is going through, you know, or like we'll do just general check-ins. And like, I'm constantly just on there talking about, I feel bad because my brother, like, you know, wishes he could like hang out with me all the time. But here I am like going off on my own now. And like, that's been like my constant thing I always talk about. But I feel fortunate that it's like, that's the worst of it. Like, you know, our mom recently, so just to like, give you guys a little more backstory, our dad passed away in 2018.
Okay.
And so, it had been, so since 2018, it's just been like mom, Stu and I as our family unit. And we got real close. Like we've always been a close knit family. The four of us, we would like go on vacations together and stuff. But especially like after dad's passing, like the three of us got really close. So much so, especially during the pandemic, you know, we were quarantined together. So with just having mom now, like as the main one who like knows about all Stu's, you know, logistics. All of the logistics. She recently went out of the country for the first time for like a travel, which I was so happy for her. Like she went with some friends and it was super exciting, but I was also like terrified. It was the first time that like I didn't have a parent nearby, you know, to rely on in case something happened, you know, like God forbid. But like, so she just came back last weekend actually, but for like a week, for 10 days, it was just Stu and I, and like we have, you know, other family nearby that was checking in on us, and that was so sweet. And other friends are super supportive too. We have a great like village, a great community. But it was still so nerve-wracking just to know that like mom is not 15 minutes away right now.
Yeah. And you're like you're the sole soldier.
Yeah. But it was a really great opportunity to kind of like experience, what it's like to make sure that like his rideshare service shows up on time, and to like make those phone calls and schedule it, and like make sure that he like got home safe or got to work okay, like all the little logistical things that mom does sometimes I was doing. And there's been like other things like along the last bunch of years that I've taken over, like the fact that he lives with me has been a huge transition like over the years to to ultimately like it'll be me
being you. Yeah.
It'll be me, like, whatever Stu needs in life. Mom's not going to be around forever, unfortunately, but for hopefully a very much longer time than that.
Stuart's mom and Renie's
yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
Hey, Stuart's mom. That's how everybody's knows him as Stuart so-and-so.
But it was nice to like kind of dip the toe for a moment and know that like, oh, actually, I think it'll be okay. It will be okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great, as we wrap up our time here, I think that's a great suggestion to siblings, like, especially like you were saying, siblings who may not have as close of a relationship as you do with Stuart is, like kind of understanding the dynamics there and making sure you talk with your parents about what your caregiving plan is, and just having some comfort level around it. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of great things. There's a lot of challenging things, but if you're prepared to receive them, makes it a lot easier. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else that you would share with the group as we talk about sibling group? Do you run that, or is it somebody else that runs that?
Varoom runs it. I
remember.
Sibling. Yeah. He's the best. He's so sweet. We also we have a Facebook group too. It's an unofficial, like it's not part of the WSA Facebook official group, but we're trying to like build up the group, the participants, so maybe it can become something official, but it's called WS Siblings. So shout out to like everyone on that group. And if any siblings that are watching or listening wants to join that Facebook group, like by all means. So I am a partial admin to that. Okay. And it's just another, great place to like check in on each other and whatever, and for support. But I'm always trying to like post the Zoom links for our WSA Zooms for the siblings on that Facebook group and vice versa. So, and
are you guys going to do something like in Buffalo? You guys should like have a little like get together.
Well, yeah. The last couple conventions, we were able to coordinate, like, I think they call it a coffee table chat or something. Okay. Where like we have an hour and a space just to like gather and hang out and meet each other. And that's been super awesome. I would love to have more of that, more opportunities for that during convention for sure. Something more official would be great. And like just to leave with some words of encouragement for any other like siblings and parents and other people with Williams syndrome is to just have grace and patience with each other, and always through the lens of respect and love goes such a long way, I feel like, in terms of navigating the challenges and the good parts and communication and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I love that so much. That's so great. Well, I'm glad you're on now because I think you're so cute. I'm in my brain trying to matchmake you with like 10 people. So when we see each other in Buffalo, that's what I'm going to do. Yay! I'm going to find you a mate.
That'd be great. I would love that.
Stuart.
Yeah, and I actually just remember like there are a panel that was done back in like the last convention in Phoenix. They put together the panel of siblings for parents to go and like ask questions and learn or whatever. But the thing I was like, the coffee table chats were just for the siblings, the adult siblings. But it would be cute to also like coordinate things with adult siblings and the children's siblings, and like help, build a bridge through that too. That would be so cute.
We need that in our house. So I would love that. I'd love to send my daughter to hear from older siblings. How to be a good, she's a good sibling, but it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, of course.
And they're teens. So it's a really hard time in life, as you know. Teen life is hard, but I would love that. Okay. So we're going to think about that too. Yay.
You've been listening to the Starry-Eyed Podcast, presented by the Williams Syndrome Association and sponsored by InnerSense Organic Beauty. The show is hosted by Jennifer Keaton and Brendan Lemieux and produced by me, Joel Lispman. All music by Tommy Barbarella and Mariella Elm. Got a question for the show? Email us at podcast@williams-syndrome.org. Video version of the podcast available on the Williams Syndrome Association channel on YouTube and on the Starry-Eyed Podcast page on Facebook. Audio version available wherever you get your podcast delights. So like and subscribe and help spread some Williams Syndrome awareness.